Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtipi Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddha Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Vishwantane Prabhupada Tipriya Shri Girivarajaya Swami Sudhita Shastri Hidasana Shalini Vadaras Biharyam Bhakti Shaklanaya Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vishwantane Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangham Dangaite Girim Yatvipa Tamahi Vande Shri Guru Devi Hare Krishna. So welcome back to our reading of Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 31. Narada instructs the Prachetas. Maitreya uvacha tata utpana vidyana ashvadoksaja bhashitam smaranta atmajibharyam vishrijya pravrajam lihat. The great saint Maitreya continued. After that, the Prachetas lived at home for thousands of years and developed perfect knowledge in spiritual consciousness. At last, they remembered the blessings of the Supreme Personal Godhead and left home, putting their wife in charge with perfect son. So you can remember what happened, the activities of the Prachetas. So they did so much austerity, then they went back. they completed their brahmacharya austerity. Then they went on earth. They were in water, right? So they came out from the water. When they came out, remember their father had left. Or King Prachi Baruvishat had already left. So the earth was completely covered with trees. So the purchasers came out and said, "What? Everything is like overgrown with trees." So they had to clear up the surface of the earth so that they can grow food and start a civilization, agriculture, etc. But they were overdoing it. All right, they were overdoing it. So then Lord Brahma came and said, told the deity of the trees, give your daughter in marriage. All right, there's too much fire in these 10 boys, right? Give your daughter in marriage. So from her was born who? Daksha. So here, say after that, the Prachetas lived at home, meaning that when all that has happened. So the Prajapatis are progenitors, the Prachetas are Prajapati. So they're progenitors. So they produce Daksha, who's expert at producing children. That we're going to the 5th canto, we're going to read about that. So they stayed at home for thousands of years. The thousands of years is like the celestial years. Absolutely. And then at last, Smaranta, Smarantaha, Atmaje, Bharyam, Vishitya, Pravrajan Grihat. So at last they remembered the Supreme Lord. So they left home and they put their wife in charge of a perfect son. After the Prachetas had finished their penances, they were blessed by the Supreme Person Godhead. The Lord blessed them by telling them that after finishing their family life, they would return home back to Godhead in due course of time. Why do you think they got this blessing?
Because of their prayers.
Why did they get this blessing from the Supreme Lord? That after finishing their family life,
because they were desiring that, wasn't it? Somewhere they were half. I mean, they wanted this, and they.
Yeah.
So the Lord read the mind, and the Lord wanted them to finish all their desires and then go back home.
Yes. So we shouldn't think that let me just sit in family life and then automatically after that I will get liberated. That's what's described here. They did austerity. All right? In youth, they did austerity, they did their duties. All right? So we can't skip the different stages. So they did their duties, and therefore, as a reward, the Supreme Lord gave them a benediction. Okay, you can enjoy in family life. And when all this, what happened? At last they remembered, they forgot, right? In family life, they forgot. But by the grace of the Lord, they remembered. And therefore they said, okay, now enough. So after finishing their family of the demigods, the Prachetas is teaching you how to live as a human being. Right? These instructions are meant for human beings, civilized human beings. So this is the process of Vedic civilization. In the beginning of life, as a brahmachari, one has to undergo severe penances and austerities. Why? In order to be educated in spiritual values. If you know from childhood you're only engaged in sense gratification, right? No austerities. You get everything, you're just pampered. The child is just pampered, everything free, like the Kauravas, right? They lived in luxury, comforts. So we saw what happened to them, right? Whereas the Pandavas, they went to the forest. They lived a very simple life. They respected and served the Brahmanas, the sages in the forest. So they became men of character, right? So the austerities has some purpose to be educated. Most of the children of Varna Sankara, meaning born of undesirable fathers and mothers. So this is the meaning of Varna Sankara. Who is born of undesirable fathers and mothers? What does that mean, undesirable? What does that mean, undesirable fathers and mothers?
Not out of wedlock.
Yeah, that's one consequence, right? This is one consequence of free mixing, right? No samskar, right? No samskar, no training, no sense control. Consequently, the whole world is in chaos. Actually, human civilization should be based on the Vedic principles. This means that in the beginning of life, boys and girls should undergo penances and austerities. So it's not only that the boys should do austerity, the girls also. What austerities do the girls do? Hmm? Yeah.
They learn.
Okay, came back. All right. So, yeah, so how do the girls perform austerities?
Dutiful.
They're dutiful, yes.
Want to serve.
Want to serve, yes.
Have control in their desires.
Yes, control over their desires. Yeah, that's the main austerity. So, yeah. This means that in the beginning of life, boys and girls should undergo penances and austerities. When they are grown, they should get married. Live for some time at home and beget children. When the children are grown up, the men should leave home and search for Krishna consciousness. In this way, one can make one's life perfect by going home to the kingdom of God. So, it's like
Seasons.
go. All right. So similarly, there's the cycle of life. The seasons are actually marking the cycles of life. And they're also marking the stages. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. And we can't, we are forced to obey them. If we disobey them, then we are going against nature. Like, when it's cold, you have to take precautions, right? To keep warm. If you say, no, it's very nice and cool AC, right? What happens? You get sick. Right? Just a change of temperature. Don't take the precautions. So, these are natural laws. Unless one practices penances and austerity in his student life, he cannot understand the existence of God. So I practice penances and austerity.
Do not understand the existence of.
To understand
The existence.
how do all those penances and austerities make us understand the existence of God? All right.
We learn to surrender. We understand that there is somebody higher which is controlling us.
Yes.
Also to be focused, when you shut others, when you have penance, there is one single pointed focus. So it helps us to search God and go into our own self.
Yeah. What is austerity and penances?
To control desire and stay away from unnecessary luxury. Sometimes go into, radically stay away from luxury.
Yeah, I guess that most of us, that's how we live our childhood. I guess so, right?
Yes.
Most of us. It's only now that children are pampered. I don't know what they do.
So now they have enough.
That and so unless one practices tapasya, he cannot understand the existence of God. Meaning that he has to come in touch with the soul. If he's only into sense gratification, he's as good as an animal, right? Whereas the human birth, this human being can understand that I am something beside the body. So if he's only eating, his life is only about eating and sleeping, then he thinks he's the body. But when he controls the senses, he can sense. He can actually sense that there is something higher than the body. Is it correct? I think most of us, when we were growing up, right, we could sense. I remember how as a child, maybe I was 7 years old or so, out of my body. Yeah, I said that I'm looking out of my body. I was maybe around 7 years old, and then as I remember, I was a teenager, maybe 14, 15 or so. Suddenly, I started thinking, "Oh, this is my sister's voice." I was hearing my own voice. I think this is my sister's voice, right? Meaning that like see, I didn't know all this, but that consciousness was there, you know. So we get evolved by doing that was just natural, okay? Without realizing Krishna, one cannot make his life perfect. Why? Without realizing one cannot make his life perfect. If I believe I'm the body, like I'm only meant for eating and sleeping, right, and enjoying life, right, then we won't make any endeavor to perfect our life. The conclusion is that when the children are grown, the wife should be put in the children's charge. The husband may then leave home to develop Krishna consciousness. Everything depends on the development of mature knowledge. King Prachina Barhishat, the father of the Prachetas, left home before the arrival of his sons, who were engaged in austerity within the water. As soon as the time is ripe, now this is something very important. Well, 2 points that I wanted to make here. First point is that, usually we say that, in a son, why do they want to have it?
Asking.
Yeah, why?
Because,
Yes.
because then the son takes the responsibility of the mother. No? And
Yeah.
plus, after the death, they perform all those rites and rituals.
Okay, now
Let
two
this go.
two reasons being given. One is that the mother is not left alone, right? See, previously the difference of age between man and woman was quite large, right?
10 years.
Yeah, and so the husband will pass away soon, right? And the mother will be left alone, right? So the mother has the children, and if they have a son, then they think that the son will take care of them, right? And so that was like, unfortunately, that's where it stands today. But that broke because the sons move out of the house and they leave their mother all alone, right?
That is happening.
Yes. Why it's happening? Because what are their duties? They believe that their duty is only to give money, right? Right? And now even some sons don't even give money to their parents, right?
That is more often. Actually.
Right?
Those who give money take care. Those who don't give, neither give nor take care.
And then also because a son means there is a wife, right? Meaning that there is a daughter to take care of the mother, old mother. This is the Vedic system, right? So now, because only taking care of the old mother-in-law is left, and no more Krishna consciousness is there, so therefore the whole system is breaking. Yes, collapsing. All right. We remove Krishna. This is varnashram dharma. And dharma means Krishna in the center. As soon as Krishna from the center, what is left only like I would call it the skeleton. You know, it's like a log of wood.
The hollow of a tree.
When you burn a log of wood, so the shape of the wood stays, right? Right? But as soon as you touch it, it collapses. So similarly, this varnashram dharma, it's like the ghost of the tree of the log exists, but when you touch it, immediately collapses. That's what has happened with varnashram dharma. So therefore, everybody is suffering, right? You have to remember, if the son who has a wife, the son who doesn't take care of the mother, as we say, that beside the money, there's also the pitri. What was that? Pitri. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, they're supposed. Yeah, they have to.
Pindadan.
Yeah, pindadan. Yeah, right. That Arjuna spoke about. If you don't do this pindadan, you don't know where your ancestors, your father, mother may be hanging around in the. You don't know where, right? They don't get a gross body. Unfortunately, because people are so sinful now, they can't take birth, and they have sinful children. So the sinful children will make so population of ghosts are hanging around more and more, right? Therefore, when you say people are crazy, they have psychological problem. Actually, they are ghost haunted, right? The ghost haunted. So this is the consequence of breaking the system of varnashram, not making the children practice austerities, and you yourself be austere, right?
Nowadays, before you tell the children, they'll say, "What so the first thing is you follow for them to follow."
So as soon as the time is right, or as soon as one has developed perfect Krishna consciousness, he should leave home even though all his duties may not be fulfilled. Prachina Barhishat was waiting for the arrival of his sons, but following the instructions of Narada, as soon as his intelligence was properly developed, he simply left instruction for his ministers to impart to his sons. Thus, without waiting for their arrival, he left home. Now, these are again very important for us. So, what we have described is the system of varnashram. So, for the father, he has to wait for the children to come from there. The schooling, you could say, that's where they went, right? They met the supreme teacher, Lord Shiva. They got good instructions, and then they met the supreme law. They got all knowledge. Remember, back ignorant. All right. They didn't come back ignorant. They became full of power. And the rest of the thing that they have to learn, I don't know, the Kshatriyas, yeah, so they have to rule a country. These are like second place, because they will learn automatically. But the main thing that the children have to learn is to control their mind and senses. Right? Everybody knows. One time, I asked one person, I said, we say that everybody now is they fool each other, they cheat, etc., etc. And you're foolish if you don't speak lies, if you don't cheat, if you're too tolerant, etc., etc. So I asked him, what do you think is better, and what do people appreciate more? Right? I just asked this question. I think everybody is intolerant, everybody is speaking bad word, etc., etc. So we should do the same thing, otherwise you cannot survive, because this is the argument, right? You cannot survive. So I asked him, and he himself is quite a passionate person. He's a devotee, but very strong. He told me, better you be good. What people appreciate more at the end of the day is that you are well behaved. Right? This is what at the end of the day people do appreciate. So these boys, they practice austerity, they control the senses, they got good education from Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva said, meditate upon the Supreme Lord. They meditated on the Supreme Lord. Vishnu came and told them, what do you want? All right, you all the boys go to school to learn so that they can acquire a wife, right? Degree, you're going to acquire a wife here, don't, right? A good wife, proper wife, successful. 20 years a boy has to go to study just to acquire a wife. If he doesn't earn, he gets no wife, right? Here Lord Vishnu says, here's the best of wife, all right? And you also self-control one wife for 10 boys.
That's one thing. Such a big population. Every time one wife is given to so many people.
Anyway, Daksha had to be born, and he's not an ordinary person, right? Right? It took 10 prachetas to give birth to Daksha. All right. So here, now we find that. So the duty of the father is that when the boy now has graduated from school and he's supposed to come home, but here King Prachibharnisha didn't do it for him to come home. Meaning is to get the boy married, right? That's his duty. Especially you have girls, right? You must at all costs get the girls married. Of course, nowadays they say, she will find by herself. So many mothers say, I'm not worried, she will find by herself. But no. It is the prescribed duty of the father, mother to find a partner for the boy and the girl. All right? So here, as soon as the time is right, what is that right time? I'm breaking two sections here. As soon as the time is right, he should be home. There's a difference there. King Prachibharnisha, he didn't complete his duty in
As a father.
which system?
In the marriage,
In which system? Varnashram system. But he left before that. Why?
Because he got that perfect knowledge by seeking a perfect person.
Because he developed his Krishna consciousness by the bombarding of Narad Muni, chapters and chapters, right? He really got it from Narad Muni. So finally, when he woke up, his spiritual consciousness woke up, then he walked out of home. And he has no more duty in Varnashram. Are you able to follow this? Meaning that as long as we are not perfect, we must do all the duties in Varnashram Dharma. Yeah, Prabhupada left. Prabhupada was perfect. Because he married, I think, when he was 18 or 20, right? And he had 5 children. He took care of everyone, all their needs. All right? And he was getting them married also. But came a point where his family was not cooperating with him. Right? So he says, now time is up. He was 54, I think. Prabhupada was 54. Time is up. And Prabhupada said he wanted the girl, to get married. He was arranging, but, too much fuss. He says, do your own thing. Will you blame Prabhupada for leaving his family life? No, Smita, why?
What Mataji would
you blame Prabhupada for leaving? Why?
Because he tried his level best, and there's a higher mission because his guru had told him he required that knowledge and service.
And anything else? If he wouldn't have left home, we wouldn't have existed, right? So Prabhupada said in family life I had 5 children.
And now I have to eat it.
Right? Now I have Vasudevam. So you're hearing the story of how brahmachari life, then family life, but don't just stay there. That's the point. Because if you just stay there, be comfortable. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this, I'm speaking of the women, It's so much like potato couch, if you ask me. Do service. We give you service? No. That's why they say women are less intelligent. Right? We are getting opportunity to do service? No. So how will you make any advancement? Now I have already lived throughout my whole life sitting and waiting when the children will grow up. Right? The children are grown up, then they say, now I have this to do. I made my mistake. So at every stage of your life, no waiting, engage in devotional service. Otherwise, when the time will come, you get so comfortable in your chair. Right? Whole life must be seva. Don't sit and wait when you're 50 or 60. It doesn't happen. I'm experiencing it. Yeah, so one should therefore not be too much attached to family life, or it will spoil one's development of Krishna consciousness. So why I'm saying that for the women, because they like to be in comfort. They like, if man or woman, girl or boy, Prabhupada is saying, this means that both boys and girls should undergo penances, and so the girls also who have done tapasya, who have in our movement have done book distribution, have there's so much sacrifice in the movement of Prabhupada. You will see these women how they are different. Even they enter Grihastha life, you'll see how much service they do. They cannot live. They can't live without the service. They have done so much. And later, why? Because of this training. Brahmacharini ashram, Prabhupada was give such a boon to the women. So even when by Krishna's grace, if they get proper husband, they do so much service. They can't live without it. So here, home is considered to be dark, well covered by. If one falls within this well, he simply dies without anyone's caring. One should therefore not be too much attached to family life, or it will spoil one's development of Krishna consciousness. Text 2. Dikshita Brahma Satrena Sarva Bhutatma Medhasa Praticham Dishi Vilayam Sinho Bhutyata Jali. Now you can read.
Translation by Divine Mission Prabhupada. The Pachetas went to the seashore in the west where the great liberated sage Jajali was residing. After perfecting the spiritual knowledge by which one becomes equal towards all living entities, the Pachetas became perfect and proper. The word Brahma, cultivation of spiritual knowledge. Actually, both the Vedas and civil authority are known as Brahma Vedas, Tattvam Tapo Brahma. Brahma also means the absolute truth. One has to cultivate knowledge of the absolute truth by pursuing studies in the Vedas and undergoing civil austerities and penances. The Prachetas properly executed this function and consequently became equal to all other living entities. And Bhagavad Gita 8:54 Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Na Sochati Na Kamshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktam Labhate. One who is thus transitly situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments. nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed in every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. When one actually becomes spiritually advanced, he does not see the difference between one living entity and another. This platform is attained by determination. When perfect knowledge is expanded, one ceases to see the outward covering of the living entity. He sees rather the spirit soul within the body. Thus, he does not make distinction between a human being and an animal, a learned Brahmana and a Chandala. Vidya Vinay Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastina Sunichaiva Sapakicha Pandita Samadarshina. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, outcast. Bhagavad Gita 5.18. A learned person sees everyone equally on a spiritual basis, and a learned person, a devotee, wants to see everyone develop in Krishna consciousness. The place where the Prachetas were residing was perfect for executing spiritual activities, for it is indicated that the great sage Jajali attained mukti, liberation there. One desiring perfection or liberation should associate with a person who is already liberated. This is called sadhu sangha, associating with the perfect devotee.
Okay. So, Prabhupada is again teaching us the ABC. We've already heard this, we know all this, but still. So, after perfecting the spiritual knowledge, by which one becomes equal towards all living entities. So, what's the perfection of your knowledge?
When you become equal.
Hmm?
When you become equal to all living.
Yes, and we just gave the example. What example we gave? Who's equal to all living entities?
It was like gentle Brahmana, cow, and
Yeah, I gave an example of who's equal to all living entities. I just gave an example. Whose example did I give?
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhupada. Right? He gave equal chance to all. That's how the girls got the chance. Right? He gave equal chance. Not only the girls, but anybody. Westerners, black, white, right? Everybody. He didn't reject anybody. Saying equally. So the perfection of knowledge is equal. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Na Shochati Na Kankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madhati Labhate Param. Right? Is able to give. So this ability to see everyone equally has a root. What is the root for this ability? We're going
knowledge.
Knowledge, yes, and
Let Krishna.
knowledge and what's the root? Knowledge
Wisdom.
and no, just say. Just explain here.
Spiritual knowledge.
How do you become yes, austere, right? Tapasya, meaning controlling the mind and senses. Again, we're saying if you're only voracious, you're only thinking about yourself, how to satisfy your senses, how can you think about the person who is with you? Right? If you're only in self-defense, everything is self-defense, how can you do any benefit to anybody else? Right? Everything is about my self-interest. How can you do any good to anybody? Right? So when we relax and understand that I am not independent, this austerity makes us become conscious that I am not independent, but I am dependent. We become conscious is providing for us. I work I'm working and therefore I'm getting. Because when you work, you realize you don't get. So therefore, you're forced to accept that there are superior forces controlling us, right? So this happened from austerity. When the mind becomes clear, the consciousness becomes clear, then Krishna can manifest himself. Then you can hear. It's a huge science. The word Brahma Satra means cultivation of spiritual knowledge. Meaning it's not just I'm controlling the senses, but there has to be knowledge. Again, this is the fall down of this Varnashram system. Right? In the Varnashram system, it was natural, that the boys, they're brahmacharis. It was just natural, the celibate. Now, with the co-ed girls are together, right? They have no knowledge, so why should they maintain their brahmacharya? Right? So only practicing austerity is not sufficient. There has to be
Knowledge.
yes, knowledge. Also, boys and girls should stay apart. Why? We should explore nature, right? Right, isn't it? This is the psychology, good psychology. If you don't give real knowledge, then others are ready to give. All right, they're nonsense. Why do you control? It's not good for the body, right? Right? It's not good. It makes you sick. That's what they say, right? So when there is ignorance, then Hiranyakashipu's school works, right? So we want Prahlad's school.
And also control has to be from within. It comes only if they understand the logic behind why you are controlling. Nobody wants to get control just because with a stick.
Yeah.
It has to be from within. So that comes with the logic, which is again the knowledge.
Yeah. Basis here is given. Coming within, nothing will come from within because we are born ignorant. Nothing will come from within. You have to tell. This is called education. Brahma Satra. Right? Brahma Satra. Cultivation of spiritual knowledge. So therefore we say the root cause of all sinful activity is
Lack of knowledge.
ignorance. Avidya. Avidya is the very source of papam. You're not aware of the consequence. Yeah. So the Prachetas, so now they are done with family life. So they again search out it. They want satsanga. Alright.
Sadhu Sangha.
So why will they get this idea if from childhood they've only learned how to enjoy life?
Since they had satsang that time also, then they
Yeah.
understood.
Understand the balance? Everybody wants balance. Here's the balance, alright? Control mind and senses with knowledge, not just taking the stick. With knowledge, you flow into your family life and understand that it is a dark well. Why is it a dark well?
Because there's no happy.
Okay, she's a householder, she's
You
saying.
fall deeper and deeper, no? That you're just getting entangled more and more, about more responsibility, more this.
There is nothing.
There's nothing there actually.
The rasa goes away the moment you enter it.
Yeah.
Till you are not entering, there's full of rust. The moment you enter it,
No, initially there is rust. Then you realize. As you get the knocks one by one, then you realize. Till then you
the rasa disappears very fast.
Yes, and you have to meet your competitors, right? In own house, you have to meet your competitors.
But Mataji, still for a woman to be a householder, I feel is a much better position rather
I
than
100% agree.
swaying from this tree to that tree. Oh, that's too dangerous.
I 100% agree that for me, I would say because at least that made them disciplined.
You said it.
If there is no family duties, no discipline.
Something to serve your act together, right? Otherwise, me,
And
myself.
also, by force, you have to control the senses. Because not everybody is born, a Maharani, right? The majority of people are born simple. I remember one friend, she told me, before I go and get this huge box of juice, I think of my child. I should save that money so that I can buy something proper for my child. So, household life with children makes the woman become self-controlled. Right? Otherwise, whatever money you have, my clothes. Anyway, these people, I don't think they even spend on clothes. Because they don't wear clothes anyway. Oh, they don't have time. Right? They don't have time. What are they wearing going to work these days? Women look so beautiful, right? You can dress up very dress up, right? If you are read somewhere, maybe 7th Canto. So, because there is a husband, the wife has to look beautiful, right? Now you go to work, how can you look beautiful? I remember one devotee, she told me when you go to work, you have to remove all jewelry. Alright? First thing, no man will employ you. You're all decked up with your jewelry, right? Because there'll be no work. So finish, the woman's shingar is over.
Yeah, because the mind will be so much nowadays. Work is so much competition. If you are all the time, ye kya wo kya, iske liye people
And your bun, remember your bun, right? Your bun, you had a huge bun, When I was a child, everybody had long hair and big bun. You have time to take care of your bun. You have to go to work. All the men will be looking at you. So you lost the shrinker. I don't know where I got
I think that's
this.
very true.
Anyway, she's a working lady, so you agree.
No,
Okay.
well, I was working full time. Now I'm working part time. I'm working from home. But I understand that I have started wearing all these. Only this is like the shakha pola and something which I really always love to wear. But when I was working, oh, you cannot be full. You giving a presentation, what jump, 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 and you mostly into office formal. So in that it doesn't go. Secondly, she's saying, where do you have time for bun and this? You try to simplify, keep on cutting hair short so that morning poor.
Firstly, nowadays hair is only less. What will I have bun?
Yeah, we don't even want so no buns. Okay, let's do one last. Okay, text 3, but all right. You understand discipline in household life. And if you're, I'm sorry, I'm just saying it openly because this is what I'm observing. Women who have no household, responsibilities, unless you are able to engage in Krishna service.
But Mati, for a working woman also, those who have to work, it is not, it is hard because then there are dual responsibility. The husband doesn't take away your responsibility of the house. You have to do that. You have a mother-in-law. You have to serve your mother-in-law. Even if you have a maid, one time you have your office phone. Khana diya kya, dawai nahi liya. I mean, it is tough. You don't have time.
Wife is very tough.
It is tough because office don't pay you for free. Now it is so much competition at work. So as you grow high up the ranks, you have enough duties there, and then you have enough duties at home. Nobody spares you. Nuclear family. You do not have support of co-sisters, co-brothers, anybody. So what you are depending on the maid. Maid is also you have to oversee the maid. Well, I have gone through it.
No, it's not
Yeah,
easy for a working
so,
woman.
so let me give my research and all this, okay?
But still, this life is better than being single.
Yeah, so in India, 20% of the women population work.
Are what, Mataji?
20% of female population do work, meaning 80% don't work. Alright? And again, about this 20%, they usually drop out.
After
They usually drop out. This is, what they have seen here. So I just saw the documentary, they're looking at India. And Prabhupada will speak about this somewhere, about the economic development. He said that people have now given up the spiritual values because they about progress they have their focus in economic development. All right. So this documentary is looking at India. He said very soon China's population is going down. and the next superpower is India. But why India cannot become a superpower? So they gave the whole list because only 20% of the women are working. Can who's ruling this world? Who's governing this world? Who's deciding what you're doing in your own household?
A man.
There are big people. Big, actually they say asuras.
the policy makers.
Asuras.
Yeah, correct.
Policy makers. What the basic asuras.
I will tell you one thing that I experienced from childhood. Simple little village. All right. There was a dairy there. All the women had cows. Every house cows. All right. So all the women, we had gardens. Every house has a garden, and they have cows. All right. So this dairy, this textile industry came to Mauritius and said, "I will close that dairy," and he did. He closed the dairy. That dairy was sold to textile people. Then what happened? All the women left their cows, left their children, everything. They went working in the textile industry. They work from 7 in the morning till 7 in the night. So they saw, the idea was that women is the labor. All right? And how many families lost their children? They don't need money, but they were made, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was too young at that time, but now these maneuvers of the economic people, right? Those who develop the economy. So here Prabhupada is making a program how to make you go back home, back to Godhead, following the instruction of Narad Muni. And his other people are planning for you how you will live your life. So they're looking at India and said only 20% of the women are working, therefore it cannot become a superpower. Then they showed China, one child per family. And God knows, I couldn't really get into their stuff. How China became a superpower, wealthy, but where are they today? Right?
Because no base of
Their
spirit.
population for the first time has come down. I think for the first time in a survey, the population has started coming down.
So
But
that's
they're dying of COVID also. A lot of them, 60,000.
But not only that, they have only one child.
Yeah.
Right?
It's regulated
And
by
it's-
the government.
Yeah.
On top of it, okay, not only one child, but they're growing older. The population is growing older.
Yes.
All right, that's the problem. Whereas in India, they have youth. That's why they're saying the next superpower should be India, but it cannot be because these are the obstacles. The women are not working. All right, and they take care of their families. Anyway, as you said, Devahuti, it's like the struggle will come until one day you say, okay, enough. So mostly, I saw my experience, whether they are householders or not, by the age of 40, I see most women in India say enough. At the age of 40, I saw they say enough of this work. Mostly. Anyway, small circle, but that's the observation. Okay, right about here. Verse, 15 minutes. Tan nirejitta pranamano vacho drisho Jitasanan Shanta Samana Vigrahan Paremate Brahmani Yojitatmanaha Surasureyo Dadrishe Smanaradaha. Okay, who's going to read?
Translation. After practicing the yogasana for the mystic yoga, the Prachitas managed to control their life, air, mind, words, and external vision. Thus, by the pranayama process, they were completely relieved of material activity. By remaining perpendicular, their minds on the uppermost Brahman. While they were practicing the pranayama, the great sage Narada, who is worshipped both by demons and by demigods, came to see them. Purport. In these words, the words Pare Amale are significant. The realization of Brahman is explained in Srimad-Bhagavatam. The absolute truth is realized in three phases: impersonal effulgence, Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. In his prayers, Lord Shiva concentrated upon the personal features of Parabrahma, described in personal terms as Snigdha Pravarana Syaman. Bhagavatam 4.24.45. Following the instructions of Lord Shiva, the Prachetas also concentrated their minds on the Syama Samudra, form of Supreme Brahman. Although impersonal Brahman, Paramatma Brahman, and Brahman as the Supreme Person are all on the same transcendental platform. The personal feature of the Supreme Brahman is the ultimate goal and the last word in transcendence. The great sage Narada travels everywhere. He goes to the demons and the demigods and is equally respected. He is consequently described herein as Surya, worshipped both by demigods. For Narad Muni, the door of every house is open. Although there is perpetual animosity between the demons and demigods, Narad Muni is welcome everywhere. Narad is considered one of the demigods, of course, and the word Devarsi means the saintly person among the demigods. But not even the demons envy Narad Muni. Therefore, he is equally worshipped both by demons and by demigods. A perfect Vaishnava's position should be just like Narad Muni's, completely independent and unbiased.
Vaishnava. Meaning he doesn't hate anything, right? So when he's going to the demons, so whatever instruction he's giving for their benefit. So this is the position of a spiritual master. The spiritual master is completely independent and unbiased. So sometimes, the huge organization of ISKCON, there's so many gurus, right? And sometimes you think that the guru will favor his disciple and not take care of somebody else's disciple. But this is not at all the case. Not at all the case. We've seen that the gurus, they are equal to all. Whoever is ready to listen. And they have equal affection. So only disciples tend to think like this. right? Because we are so much conditioned, these are my family, this is my god brother, my god sisters. But gurus, they are unbiased and independent. So, in terms of, you could say that uh, maybe, I mean, that's just observation. A particular spiritual master comes, gives darshan, and is personally present. The disciples become more together, right? More obedient, more submissive. Everything is very nice, Like I one time couldn't believe it. So there were two boys, they were very mischievous boys. So I was in a small temple. So these boys were running around. It was like a small temple, so they were like so fast. It was a madhouse. The mother could not control these two boys. It's a temple. As soon as the father came in, I couldn't believe it. Absolute. Is it so?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So what happened to these angels? Angels. So never understand power. I don't throw away that I can take care of my child. This eyewitness. So, so it happens also among disciples. Everybody become good child, extremely good child. So, in that sense, you could say that the a particular spiritual has more influence over a certain group of devotees who have taken shelter under him. But it doesn't mean that the spiritual master himself is biased against this party and that party. Otherwise, he cannot be a guru. Alright, he cannot be a guru. So Prabhupada is saying a perfect Vaishnava's condition should be just like Narayan, who is completely independent and unbiased.
Recent observation, no?
Okay.
Your Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. That's correct. We don't know when Guru Maharaj will leave, what will happen. Again, fall apart.
But your Guru Maharaj is very cute.
Giriraj Maharaj.
Expo. Oh, you must meet him. Have you met my Guru? Oh my God, he's heard so much about you. Yeah, you must meet him. Okay, so let's do this last one. Expo. Tamagatam tauthaya pranipatyavinadyacha pujayitva yathadesham sukhasinam atrabuvam.
Translation. Translation. As soon as the Prachetas saw that the great sage Narada had appeared, they immediately got up even from their asanas. As required, they immediately offered obeisances and worshipped him. And when they saw that Narada Muni was properly seated, they began to ask him questions. Purport. It is significant that all the Prachetas were engaged in practicing yoga to concentrate their minds on the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes. So that's also instructive. Okay. So they were sitting to meditate upon the Supreme Lord, but what did they do?
Immediately got up.
As soon as Guru Maharaj walked in, they got up from the seat. Yeah. I remember one time, one devotee was chanting Gayatri mantra. And usually, when we're chanting Gayatri mantra, we don't observe others around us. Except when my Guru Maharaj came, and she was confused. she didn't know whether she should offer obeisances or chant Bhakti. So she asked my Guru Maharaj this question, what am I supposed to do? When Guru Maharaj is coming and chanting Bhakti, what should I do? So my Guru Maharaj said, give him some time. So I guess he must have discussed with his god brothers, right? And he said, when the spiritual master comes, we must offer obeisances. So here it is. You know, so many things that I learned. I mean, the wealth of just living. So many details. It's day-to-day life that we learn. It was just automatically us. But here, everything I'm finding in Bhagavatam, each and everything that I learned in our ashram, Prabhupada has. So you have to study.
Mataji, if the child disturbs you when doing the Gayatri, I have to, many times I have to, I go this much ahead and and then I have to again restart it because, that concentration is gone and then you can't find the connect. Then you start all over again.
What to do?
What to do?
What to do, yes. So that's why chanting the Maha Mantra is so important. Right? Because the Maha Mantra is very merciful. Right? Very merciful. And especially before we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we chant what? Panchatattva mantra. Because Mahaprabhu has come not to deliver, the great Brahmanas, but to deliver everybody. As you are saying, your child is disturbing you. If you were in a different situation, Parikshit Maharaj walking in. But these Prachetas, their Guru Maharaj walked in and they became aware of him. The mechanism, I don't know, but I can say spiritually aware. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was meditating on the super soul. 6 months. Alright? He was seeing the super soul. Remember that the Guru and the super soul, they're one and the same. Right? Right? The mission of the Guru instructions to the disciple.
External and from within.
Yeah, and anyway, when we continue to read, we find that the Prachetas, how they will greet Narad Muni. He said, we've been so much in family life, we forgot about Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. And Guru Maharaj is coming. Meaning that again, they lost that focus. Right? Again, they lost it. So you're trying to meditate, you're trying to get back your concentration on the Supreme Lord. And it's not happening. Therefore, Satsanga, Guru is coming back again to give them the same instruction that they received so many years back. Alright? Sometimes we say it's, reading again and again, same thing Prabhupada is saying, because we don't, right? It's always sleeping. And if you don't, as soon as you give a little break, it's so risky. You give a little break from your practices, you go to sleep, right? We have to be alert. We read one sentence. How do you progress in spiritual life? Even Lord Brahma gave him so much respect, you could say. Right? What happened? He became a competitor to Lord Shiva. Okay? Such a high position.
I think pride can come into anybody anytime.
That's why we are in this material world. So therefore, our great good fortune is that we are small people. We are not big people. Yes. And the endeavors of any sense irreversible yogi is to remain small. Right? If you are a good yogi or whatever yogi you are, the safest position is to remain small. Because sometimes, either you yourself you want it or other people will push you up, right? And your duty is to make sure you stay down. I heard Sachidananda Maharaj, he was speaking about how this one person, katha going on. So this one person, every day he was coming to this katha. And he was just sitting, I don't know where it was, Vrindavan, I don't know where it was. The person was just sitting like a beggar in the street. That's his way. So then that speaker, I hope I got the story right, but the purport is correct. So that speaker one time saw him and came to him, right? And this person started to speak to him in perfect Sanskrit, all right? In perfect Sanskrit, and told him certain things that he said, right? So then this Vachak was shocked and said, "What are you doing here?" Then he said, I don't know what was his position in University of Benares, right? High position in the University of Benares. He said, I have to do this. So it's either willingly by ourselves, we place ourselves in a humble position, otherwise we will get humbled and humiliated. The choice is ours, right? The world already, anyway, you could say it's the work of God also, right? How to make us humble by humiliating us, right?
Giving Sofa knocks every now and then. Best is book distribution marketing. To get that, it humbles you in no time. They look at you like
This is voluntary.
Really? Some give you that look as well. Yeah, please.
This is voluntary. But you remain focused.
Yeah. We should never leave it. Our focus is, to distribute Bhagavad Gita and to get Vidya. Let them feel whatever they have to feel. How does it?
And they get the benefit of it.
Well, it is angry, happy, jumping.
Yeah, what to do? We are like children who don't know what is our own welfare. Right? What is our own welfare? So, but when the Sukriti increases, then we get the opportunity. All right, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.